You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Hour, the show that brings you unfiltered stories and insight from the Twin Cities real estate world with your hosts, Chris Rooney, broker at RE/MAX Preferred, and Andy Presky, leader of the Preferred Home Team at RE/MAX Advantage Plus.
Woo!
What are you guys doing here?
Spying on you.
That's it.
I knew I should cover this camera.
We're checking you out in your little cave over there.
I know. I was just trying to figure that out. I either look like I'm too tan or I look like I'm bleached out white. There's no balance.
I match my wall. Look at this.
White on white's a good look for you.
Yeah, it sure is.
It makes you look innocent.
I won't stand up. We'll just say that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What about my exotic Brazilian beach clothing? You guys like that?
I do.
You had a little sex appeal to the show. Thank you.
It's like 70s, Jimi Hendrix type vibe.
You're aiming that old arrow right at trouble, aren't you, buddy?
Wild child.
That's right.
What's that? Are you growing something under your chin?
Trying to. It's very hard. I blame you. Genetics.
Hey. It took me a while. You saw I had one, though. I'm going to go back to it, I think, pretty soon.
Does that have anything to do with being south of the equator? No?
The hair?
Yeah,
no,
it grows up instead of down.
Make the face look a little more asymmetrical.
So don't the toilets, can you actually go check for us? People talk about how the toilets flush the other way.
I'm not sure about that. I will check, but I do know. No, you can't flush toilet paper for the most part outside of Europe and the United States. So you have a little trash bin and you throw your toilet paper in the trash bin.
Huh.
Plumbing is a little hard outside of the first world.
For real.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, for some people,
over there?
Trouble, but
we got some big news. We're going to wait for it, though. The background, You see the marijuana leaves in Minnesota. We'll talk about that. But before, let's just talk about the overall.
Did he say talk about the market?
I don't know. I think his beard got in the way.
It did. That thing is thick. It just gets over his lip and stuff. So, but we can talk about the market.
Grizzly Adams.
Yeah. What do you think about the market? It's a weird little time, I think.
Yeah. I
got some that are crazy and then some other stuff that's not. It's just really weird.
Yeah, we got the same thing. It's kind of getting back to the, 2017, we had some of this going on where, going into the end of summer, we kind of went almost back to a traditional slow summer kind of season, because everybody's on vacation, whatever. And then as the fall came in, we came back. But in the meantime, it represented some great opportunities for some buyers that were looking for a little bit better of a deal. And so there are, I think, some sellers that would now look at a concession or maybe not a full price offer or, especially some inspections. Now, take that exact same sentiment. You go to some of my other markets that we're in, and good luck. You do that kind of crap, and you're not going to get your offer accepted. So you're correct. I agree with you that you're 100% right. There's an odd mix of things happening at the same time.
Yeah, you have to really understand where you're at for sure in the marketplace, because there is. I mean, there's pockets that are, attackable, like you were saying, and then there's other ones that are like, hey, we still got a lot of competition. I mean, I got a listing that's had a ton of showings. I've had probably 6 or 7 people say they're going to write, and they just keep hanging on. It's just like, come on, let's go. But
right.
what do you do? You just gotta. It's tough because you gotta try to explain it to the sellers and try to figure it out. But it's like agents like you and I talking to each other, finding out that this is happening all over the place. I've been doing a lot of talking with other agents, and everyone's seeing kind of the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think so. And I don't think it's specific to,
I don't think it's rates. I don't think it's rates.
It's a little bit, there's a little bit of everything going on there. There's also the one where I'm closest to, where I think you've got one too, because I just was having dinner with one of your neighbors with a listing next to yours in Eden Prairie. We were talking about that exact thing. And what's happening is these builders are having a model that might be $50,000 more than what the existing house that's almost brand new is trying to sell for. But then what the builder will do is the builder will buy down the interest rate down to 5%. So all of a sudden the payment's $2,000 a month cheaper for the next 30 years. And the people can't afford to, instead of taking that $50,000, unless you're cash, if they need to do financing, the builders are pulling people away with these pretty clever, because I think most people want new, but if they can get a house that's a year old or less and it's brand new, everything's still almost brand new, and you could save 50 grand, why wouldn't you?
Right. Yeah. Anytime you're selling in a market that has new construction in it, that you're facing, where people have alternatives and they can just build that master bedroom 2 feet bigger, it's always an issue, and sometimes it becomes obviously construction takes a long time. So getting in a lot quicker, maybe getting blinds and more landscaping and pieces that, you don't think a lot about when you're starting to build, but those all add on big time. I just put blinds in my house, and oh man, that's craziness. It's like putting on a deck. So
yeah, it is crazy. I was having a great conversation the other day with a guy who was up at the cabin, and we were looking at, the lots and the lake and whatever else. And we're talking about, like why would you wait? And everybody's like, well, historically I've seen where we have, in the past, when inflation kicks in, everything keeps getting more expensive. You're better off locking in and riding the wave up, because generally it doesn't come down unless you have a depression like we had. You call it whatever you want. We had a housing depression a couple, 20 years ago, or 15 years ago. And that depression literally brought everything down, right? Well, we're not there right now. There's too much equity. There's too much, whatever. So the rates are high. Everybody's getting used to making $25 an hour. But guess what happens, Chris? You got that entry level like construction job making $25 an hour. Well, now all of a sudden they start going to the store and they go, well, gosh, milk's more expensive. I got 2 kids. Tennis shoes are more expensive. A quick example I was laughing at was, I remember when I could buy a shovel, at a hardware store for like $23. This wasn't that long ago. And now they're $75. I mean, Some of the garbage ones are $50, but it's like, it to me, just like simple little things like that. And then you look at the tradesman that's out there and they want to buy the nicer stuff. So now a shovel's $100 shovel for them with the fiberglass handle, the nice re-weld, so it lasts. But here's what's interesting. All those costs keep going up. So eventually that $25 an hour is going to go to 30. They have to, just to afford to keep up with the cost of tools, fuel, whatever else. And so I don't know. I sure think we're in this inflationary market here for a little while longer. It's not, I don't see it like overnight snapping its fingers and disappearing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Steak. I was just buying it the other day. It was $15 a pound. I'm like, what are you kidding me?
That's how they control.
I get upset with that. I get upset with groceries because it's an absolute racket. I mean, cottage cheese was like $7. I don't usually look at the prices. I just grab what I want, but I'm like, what?
I was talking to a cattle farmer, funny enough, and they were talking about beef because I asked him that. I said, well, you guys must be just killing it right now. And he goes, You know who's killing it is the breeders on the front end, because I didn't realize that cattle move in stages through different farms. Not most farms don't birth the calves and then keep them all the way through to where they go to the market. They'll birth them, sell the calves, or they do like a juvenile, and then they'll sell them and they fatten them up based on what their customer's ordering. If they want fattier meats, or if they want, whatever certain breed of cattle or whatever. So what I found interesting was these guys are like, we're middlemen, and we're not buying cattle right now because these calves are $1,500 a piece, and they're like, that's every ounce of profit we could possibly make right now because the market's already through the roof. So the guy in the front end's gouging them, and they're saying, well, we have all these safety regulations and blah. It's crazy how it really does affect everybody. And, I don't know.
Well, good. I'm excited for you to come to Brazil, Chris, because what do you guys think I paid for this meal right here? And remember, this is a high-end place, a cafe near the beach.
My God. I mean, how much would y'all get there?
So guacamole, salad, some sort of bacon, egg type sandwich. And then I forgot what the top one was, but it was pretty good.
I'd say $22.
And remember, cappuccino and espresso too, right? So what do you
$22.
think? How much?
22.
Chris?
I'm gonna say 10.
I wish 10, but it was $20. This is a high-end place where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
It's very good food.
I started adding up the sandwiches, and you're on the ocean, and I was guessing.
Yeah, Andy was right. Andy was close. Perfect. Beautiful, guys. So here we go. The big bad topic. What's going to happen with this legalization? Because we saw it in, Colorado. All the Californians moved there for different reasons, but still, the marijuana being legal, is that going to be good or bad for real estate in Minnesota?
Andrew, Andy still seems hyped up, so I don't think he started.
I'm sorry, Chris, I couldn't hear you. I'm baked.
And obviously,
the whole show.
I think there's going to be some long-term effects with it, but I mean, nothing happened to Colorado. Actually, Colorado's market went up, with people moving in there. I don't know if that's going to happen here, or I don't know. Is there any studies out there about what that does with the drug dealers and stuff like that and crime? I mean,
I don't think it goes away because they'll be, they're not paying taxes. They're not doing I'm sure there's still an illegal market, just like anything else, that's out there. There's always that, but here, I think like from a housing perspective, how does it affect housing? I don't know how many people work at marijuana farms. I don't know how many people that work at, what do they call those dispensary stores or whatever they are. And I don't know what they get paid. Do they get commission where they're making $150,000 a year selling pot at a pot shop, or do they make, minimum wage? So I don't know if it'll affect housing as much as it's just another recreational way to relax. And, it's just another, like having another liquor store on the corner. And now I don't know. See, I don't know. And I think that they've got we're kind of one of the last states to finally approve this or whatever. So it's like, it's almost a dollar short, or a day late and a dollar short. And I think to make any kind of a big splash.
We're the 23rd state, so actually not too far behind.
Right in the middle.
And then, I lived in Colorado, so I know a little bit about it. And the taxes are crazy. So the illegal trade still goes on a lot. I know some farms, I was told like they have a bunch of supplies and they can only sell so much. They have to burn it or they illegally sell it, right? So I know that was the case, but I know there's a lot of people that made a ton of money off the farming and dispensaries and whatnot. A lot of it illegally, though. They sell off the remaining.
Well, I mean, and Nick, think about this. I mean, how many people smoke weed? I don't know. That's an actual question. I don't know. Out of the 5 million or 6 million Minnesotans that are out there, is everybody going to go out and try it once, or is everybody? I don't know, man. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's like the people that were battling the battle to win to like, yeah, we finally got it approved. Well, good for you. There's so many regulations and taxes and everything else that are on this. I mean, they've talked about dispensaries aren't going to be open until like August 1st of next year. So it's really not going to even affect us until next year, or you know what I mean? So it's like, but it's legal now. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a different opinion next year. I don't know.
Yeah. And probably areas. It could, maybe hurt certain areas from a real estate perspective, and other areas, I don't know if it'll do anything to it really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have enough money to buy pot from a pot shop, and there's a pot shop down the street from you, and you can walk down the street, buy your pot legally, go down, sit on your patio, smoke your pot, have a good time. God bless you. You know what I mean? I mean, good for you. But I don't know if I need to be smelling all that skunk weed. You know, I mean, I don't know.
Well, what's the rule? I mean, are the rules? I don't even know. Are the rules you can't do it in public?
I assume, but I don't know. I didn't read any of the rules.
You know,
I know Colorado, I don't think you can do it out in public, at least not smoke it. I think you could chew it.
so what you guys are saying is there's an opportunity for builders to make pot smoking rooms on their houses. And that'll be in the Parade of Homes this year for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what we call the weed room, man.
Well, I actually think you might be bringing in some out-of-towners because there's an article I found here about Chicago people eyeing the Twin Cities, obviously more so for cost of living. But what have you guys been hearing about this? The state of Illinois, are there a lot of people coming to Minnesota?
On the super bus.
I do have one person coming from Chicago, but I don't know. I think, wow, this is interesting. That's an interesting thing too. Zillow page views originating from outside the Twin Cities metro and where they're coming from. I think that's very interesting, actually.
St. Louis, huh?
Yeah. Chicago being that's pretty darn high.
Well, you know, when you look at some of those cities, it's a cost of living thing, right? I mean, there's you look at Denver, man, it's expensive.
Yeah. And Chicago is ridiculous. And I mean, the crime there is out of hand. I mean, from everything that you hear. So it doesn't surprise me that they probably have, if you go look at Florida and every other state around Chicago, they're probably looking at different areas. So that place is crazy.
Well, I mean, Chris, and honestly, think about this. I mean, it's like we all have our own version of success, right? So, but not everybody can afford, you know, once houses start climbing and climbing and climbing, you get to like areas like Seattle where it's basically a house of cards waiting to fall because there are people in houses that can't afford those houses that they're in so they can get the job in the city they want to live in. They're buying $1 million house for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, split entry out on an island where they have a 45-minute ferry ride to their job. And you know what I mean? It's like, and it gets to a point where people are gonna be like, screw this. I'm the job isn't worth it. I'm gonna go back to Idaho and or wherever you live. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just and
Idaho's a crazy market. I'll tell you that.
The only place that I'd say there's a concentration of focus, okay? Like if you look at like some of these boom towns that are out there, are they booming because of business? Are they booming because of a new industry that came in? Or are they booming just because it's a redevelopment area that it went from nothing and started climbing and they're like, when is it going to stop? And people keep putting pressure on it. And I go, you're living in a condo in an area that, do you really want to live there for $850,000? But I don't know, and then, or do you want to go buy that lakefront property for $850,000 and live on a lake somewhere? And I think the value will always stay on the lake versus the tower living is different.
Yeah, you're not making a lot more lakes, that's for sure. And the ones that are here are certainly going down. We're down to what we were last year on prior. Crazy.
What does that mean?
It means that the lake's really low.
Oh, water level.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, you rich people all just turn on your faucets and see what happens. Doesn't that work?
Yeah. We did that last year. And it went up.
It's water the lake day.
Yeah.
Fill it up.
All right, boys, let's do some fun stuff. Social Media Reacts will be brought to you by Andy Prasky, Preferred Home Team. Smart man, Andy. I got a video.
This chart showing you is like what the payment difference, what that actually means. Because a lot of people don't understand. They hear rates are going higher. And I've been preaching this to a lot of people that, people don't live in the price. They live in the payment, right? That's what they write the check out for every month or transfer the money out of their account every month. Payments are important to people. And so that's where I was starting to look at what does it mean when rates jumped up to 6.75 or even 7% last. I mean, you're $300 and some higher than it was, 3 months ago, but it's not the end of the world. It's not like, I mean, $300 will sway someone from buying, but then they also talk about now that house by waiting. Like there's a cost of waiting. And I think we had another chart on that one too. But as inflation keeps hitting and those houses keep going up 3, 4, 5, 6% a year, you're better off locking in at the higher rate right now and buying it at a lower price. Do the math on the equation. And then over the years of appreciation, you'll far exceed waiting to buy it at the lower price. So assuming that, hey, prices might come down next year, 25,000, and it'll be a dip in values before. I don't know who that guy was, but he was good.
The information was spot on. I'll tell you that.
But it's funny. I have to even do it myself. I just was doing it on building a place up in Alex. And I started doing the math on it. And I go, what if prices do keep going up 15%, 10%, 5%, whatever a year on materials and costs and labor? Eventually get to the point of where you're not going to be able to afford to catch up. That's the scary part of inflation is eventually you become broke.
Yeah.
You can have all the money in the world. You can be a multimillionaire. And when inflation starts eating it away, eventually having $10 million in the bank might be like having $100 in your wallet, Yeah,
I think there's something about waiting too. I mean, when are you ever going to do it? I mean, you're going to lose 4 or 5 years of your life. And now all of a sudden you're not able to walk. And a lot of things can happen. I mean, I've seen a lot of changes happen around my world. And I mean, sad, unfortunate things that you got to enjoy life too. And you got to go after it. And I mean, in the end, I saw a little article about how credit card debt has gone up, like $7,500 a person that's sitting on their credit card, so it's almost like they're using those extra funds to be able to kind of try to maintain their life. And that's what I've seen. It's like cottage cheese at $7 and milk or meat at $15 a pound. It's like, well, I still kind of want to eat that, all right, let's buy it on the credit card. But and I'll tell you what, going out to eat
card to not feel the pain of inflation. It's sad but true, man. I tell you, they got to quit printing money, because if they keep printing money, this only continues. And so they literally at some point in time have to tighten up the strings and say, okay, enough is enough, and let's at least control inflation by not spending. So when they say like we're going to raise rates on the consumer, they're blaming excuse my French, the BS that they're causing the problem. They need to be the ones with the control. And it just, anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but
I hear a lot about Argentina. Obviously, a lot of Argentinians are in Brazil, and it's like $1 is 500 pesos now. And I saw a video recently, like the late 90s, of a German guy in Buenos Aires, and they were talking about prices, and he's like, yeah, it's way more expensive here in Buenos Aires than back home in Germany. And now, I mean, the currency is shot to death. You can go down there and be very well off if you have dollars. So the biggest hedge Argentinian people have used the last like 50 years with Peronism is real estate. That's how the rich have saved all their money, kept their wealth. So yeah, I don't think we're going to turn into Argentina, but it's just a good observation.
A tangible asset. Like my grandpa used to say it. He goes, what's cool about buying something like that is a stock can go up and down and disappear, right? They do. It happens all the time. You buy an asset and you can walk by and touch it. And there's something to be, even if you paid $1 billion for it, now it's worth $500 million, you still can touch it, sell it, leverage against it. It gives you an asset that doesn't go away. Not many assets right now are not being threatened. I mean, people are scared that currencies are being threatened. The dollar is going to go away. The euro is going this, and they talk about all that. You got to buy gold, and then they're like, well, precious metals aren't worth anything. Nobody wants precious metals. We got to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's worth nothing. Now it's worth $1 billion. It's like there's so many vulnerable things out there that like I always say to people, it's sometimes nice to sit back and have the nice portfolio, a little bit of the things you don't understand, but a lot of the things you do. I translate, buy real estate, hold real estate, rent it, and it over time has been proven, like we were just talking there, Nick was saying, it's been proven time and time and time and time again to be a winner.
I love Johnny Carson.
Oh, I miss him so bad.
He was awesome. Yeah, I think people, I mean, look at that, but I think they're also mesmerized by how somebody can afford that kind of money. I see it all the time. It's just like, how are these kids doing that? I mean, there's no way we could do that, but they're just used to a different way of life,
Think about it this way. There's a lot of baby boomers right now that are very wealthy because they had the guts when they couldn't afford it to buy it. And that's what you're seeing these millennials. It's the same DNA. They got the guts to buy it. They're just hoping it goes up. Now, could things turn? Of course, we've seen it. But on the other hand, who knows? Maybe the average house will be $10 million in 20 years. We don't know. And maybe this will be the smartest investment they've ever made buying it for $1 million. Just like the old guy that, well, I bought the whole peninsula for $2,200 when I was a school teacher. And I'm like, what? I hear those stories all the time. And I'm like, now it's worth $4 million, but you paid $2,200 for it. You had what I would consider to be a very normal job. You're a school teacher, right? I mean, if anything else, that's at the bottom of the pay scale. Should be at the top, if you ask me. But a lot of times you're and they were buying like cabins and now I look at like how people make money, dual jobs, and they can barely afford a house, and their new car is $1,600 a month on the payments, and it's like it'll balance out. Don't worry, it eventually balances out again because people stop spending money.
I just heard that story on one that they paid like $13,500 for a lake lot and just sold it at 1.3 as a teardown. So
yeah. But Chris, back in the day, it was proportionately probably a scary amount of money for them to take on for debt, and they bought it, right? And they probably had a payment against it, and it but they had the guts to do it. That's the key.
Yeah. Or it's like thinking about, something in I don't know, Hutchinson or outside of Hutchinson on a little lake out there that doesn't have much going on, and you're grabbing, some land out there. I mean, it's speculative, and that's exactly what like Prior Lake was way back when. It was how do you get over there? You got to get over a couple rivers and they're flooding those bridges and you're stuck. So
I remember going down to Valley Fair and I thought, oh God, here we go. I want to go to Valley Fair really bad, but you got to go down the river and through the woods to Grandmama's house we go. And it was down the river and across ferry. And with that new 169, I think I can get to Valley Fair in under 25 minutes from Champlin.
Yeah, Chaplin's not that far. It really isn't anymore. Where it used to be like, oh my gosh, I can't. Yeah. I got to go there. So
whoever was the genius, by the way, I'm only going to say this quickly because it's whoever widened 94 from Monticello to Clearwater, 3 lanes wide. God bless you. You're a saint in my eyes.
Did we hate him though when it was happening?
Oh, of course.
It was under construction
forever. I want to be caught at the highlight, not the low light. But now it's like 3 lanes, and it's so funny to me. I don't know why, but everybody sits over in the fast lane. I go over to the right lane, and
oh, you go right by them.
Oh my God, the far right lane. Nobody wants to be in the slow lane. We have every right to be in the fast lane, Andy. We're Americans. We have a right to sit and go 55 miles an hour to 70 in the fast lane. I'm like, I so don't understand the psychology. Somebody should write a book on that because the psychology, all those people are nut jobs.
Wow.
The left laners.
Hey, you just reminded me. It was the anniversary recently of the collapse.
Oh, that was horrible.
Nick, you remember where we were?
Yeah, some baseball tournament.
Yeah, in Chicago. Remember when we got the call on that? We're like, what? There's no way. I mean, look at that. There's people that survive that too.
Build up in Rogers for this Mike and Iris. And at the time, wonderful couple. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, I just got this text. I don't know if this is real or not. Chambers.
Yeah.
That's my next job, the credit cowboy. Look at our shirts match.
You the credit cowboy.
Chris, awesome. Drag me off the camera if I start doing that stuff, okay? Promise.
No. What? I said no. Why not? I don't want to.
I'll tell you what. That's it can cost a lot of money to the seller. We have those discussions a lot in trying to find the right price, or just, I mean, if you can get that right price that you get people excited, that's when you start getting more. If you outprice them, they start thinking about it, waiting a week, waiting 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden that price is going to start going down for the most part. It's not every circumstance, but pricing, being accurate is very important in today's market.
True. More so now than ever, because I think the buyers coming in feel like they feel like they've already negotiated with the interest rates. And then they come in and they feel like, oh, you want to negotiate too? It's just different.
But here's the problem is that now realtors are fighting to get listings and they're trying to get sales. And so they're going to try to convince people, hey, yours is a little more, contractually obligate you, and then have to reduce it after a while. So you kind of got to really look at the data and dive into it, because it's only going to hurt you in the long run. I mean, it really does. And so I'm very cautious about that. And I mean, there's no one other than you that wants more money for your property than us, because not only do we make more, but it makes us look better. And so we want to get you the most amount of that we possibly can. And so, but we've got to do that. We got to be smart about it and strategic about it, because you'll find out later that, oh my God, they were right. So.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm fucked. Oh shit. I'm fucked.
It's just so weird listening to that kind of stuff, because it's like on the radio, we would have been shot, and then when it comes up, it's like, whoa.
Nick did miss the memo on our training about being family friendly, I think, but.
Hey, did they ever start did the new radio show start?
Yeah.
Did they do it on CCO?
They did.
They did. Okay. I didn't listen to it. Dang it.
I got tagged on a video. They did a live video, and they were very, very nice. They gave us a very nice complimentary shout out
really?
on the show. Yeah. Saying, oh my gosh, how long we were on the air, and a lot of nice words about us. And then they kind of said, well, we're going to try to fill in the shoes or something like that. And so that was nice.
Yeah. Ryan and Scott are good guys.
Yeah, they are. Well, I mean, they even gave a shout out to Schuster too. And I'm like, how do you not like a guy that's that nice? Right. I mean, like, you're like, Ryan. And Ryan O'Neill's a cool guy.
And why John Schuster? John did a lot of advertising on WCCO.
Tons.
Yeah.
Well, it was always funny because Chris and I, when we were on the air, we were on for years where we were non-paid, like talent, if you will, kind of like guests on the show. We weren't, and so we didn't pay to be there. We had, we were on air. They were making great revenue off the show from us. The station was happy. We were happy until they got a new program director, but that's beside the point. But anyway, so we had many, many years of that. And then they'd have advertisers would come in and go, you know what? We want to run ads right on their show during the middle of their show, talking about how we're great agents. And Chris and I were like, oh, that's cool. Good for them. Good for you guys. I hope you make a lot of money off of them. And then, of course, me, I'm such an ass. I go run into Schuster, and we were at one of these corporate events. And I said, I can't believe you're running those $900 specific spots right on our show. I said, you've made us a #1 show for revenue in Saturday mornings. Thank you, by the way. And he didn't know what to say to me. He looked at me like I was crazy, and I go, it actually is a good thing for us. We take it as a huge compliment that you want to advertise on our show. So
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, good luck to those guys, by the way.
Beautiful. Hey, let's get into our Minnesota Luxury Spotlight, brought to you by Chris Rooney Home Experts.
I was just 1 year old when my family started in real estate, where both my parents were agents. They also dabbled in investing in real estate, rentals, flips, and construction. After college, I went right into getting my license in July of 1990. As a 23-year-old agent in an industry that looks nothing like today, I had to know more for my clients to choose me. There wasn't Zillow or social media to tell them how good I was. I had to win them over with knowledge. With knowledge comes confidence, and with confidence comes results.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Ooh,
This
hard
is
scrabble.
another. Why
That
didn't
looks
it
like a house
start
that's
with-
designed by that Smuckler, that architect. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Trying to remember his name, but it was like I know his last name because I remember it was the roof lines. He's big into the heavy roof and the multiple, you know.
Can you imagine that roof, Andy? What that would cost to do,
Yeah.
or shingle? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Mm,
That's kind of a really cool photo too.
yeah.
Gosh, look at that.
It actually is the first time I've seen a photo of a house where you see the roof and you go, "That's cool."
Well, that's obvious an estate type property.
Yeah.
When you're that private and you have what you have, here's the thing, just so everyone knows that Nick throws these stuff on us, and we don't really have the research on them, so we're kind of going offhand right away, and so we're sometimes we got to ask about different things. So it was built
We're
in
seeing it
89.
as you see it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, okay, so 5.77 acres. It is in mound. Mound typically doesn't bring, it doesn't bring Excelsior type money because.
Well, I was going to say, is it on the lake? We can't see. It looks like
yeah.
it is, but I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Look at the pictures there, Nick. Maybe.
Yeah, it's got some beautiful hard scrabble.
Looks like there's but I don't know if that means it's on the lake. There could be a road down there or something, you know.
Oh no.
Oh, there you go.
No, it's not. Yeah. So yeah, Level Lake Shore. I mean, it gets a little closer at the lake there. That's interesting. But you're gonna get the same thing. I mean, obviously this is on the market. How long has it been on? 47 days. Okay. Yeah. Sarah's a good agent. So she definitely knows what she's doing. I think sometimes you have to you got to test it out, because I mean, try to buy that lot and get that property right there is easily over 10 million. I mean, in some cases, I mean, if that land's over in Wayzata.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. In my brain, comparing the two properties across the lake from each other, this is obviously west of it, but it for sure the value here is you're getting value.
The property alone would be 10 million. So I mean, and so that's what a buyer's going to do. They're going to justify, hey, I've got an estate type thing. I'm in Mound. I work out of my house. I mean, but coming from Mound and then kind of going around the whole lake, I mean, it just takes a little while. So thus the values go. But you can see, obviously, it's staged very nicely. Very impressive. Nice stuff. See, that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun to me. The ceilings and all that, the built-in woodwork. I mean, a lot of people might say, "Oh boy, you might want to, clean that up a little and whitewash it," type thing. But I don't know. I think you kind of leave that. I think that's an individual's taste. Boy, Andrew, look at that.
Yeah, see the road right off the back. I think it's up on a hill, and I think it's got access across the road or something though.
Give it, Nick. Why don't you hit the map?
Hit the photos.
The map.
Because I'm not commenting anymore until I see more. I got to see more.
The map. Give us a map. Where is that map?
I think it's at the top.
Oh, what the heck? It's being tricky. There she is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I think the access is on the backside.
Okay.
To the water. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, you are close to the.
Very cool. Okay.
I'm gonna go out a little, Nick. Now. Yeah. Okay. So you're on the good water.
Great spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mound is really tricky. I mean, if you haven't been to Mound, it's really you're sifting and flipping and flopping all around the place. Boy, doesn't that look different impression from the aerial photo?
Yep.
But it's pretty cool. I always like those big circle driveways. All right, keep going. More photos.
Looks like that would have been a pretty hot property back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Little dated, but it's very nice condition, but it looks a little dated. Like you said, some of the style and the whatever is.
But then the price is.
Oh my God, it's a steal. I'm
Price
not
really good
trying
for
to
that.
toot their horn, but it's a steal.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? You were talking about $4.5 million. It's a great deal, but it does look like
acreage on the lake. I mean, granted, now most people that have to
kitchen.
that have money don't want to commute to Mound. They don't want that extra 40 minutes around the lake or whatever it is to get there, or 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got new kitchens. There's updates. I mean, I'm sure this one will.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna grab this one. Was it recently reduced, Nick? I'm not familiar with this one.
Nope.
I can't see. Yeah.
Read
It has not been
they have a
reduced.
description on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the tax stuff though. Want to see the tax stuff?
Kind of like the agent remarks or whatever.
Oh, price change. Look at this.
Yeah, it was $5 million, wasn't it? It was 4.95. Yeah.
2017,
Yeah.
it sold for 2.8.
Yeah, but that was really kind of before all the lake stuff started going really crazy too. So.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, 17 was a crazy year. There was a lot of deals.
Yeah, and then obviously COVID just accentuated everything, especially on the water, because everyone wanted to stay on the water, and no one wanted to sell. So the people that were selling, people were fighting for it, and so the prices just kept going up. So
That you can hardly get for 4.5 million. You can hardly get a dock and Alex for that.
Exactly.
You priced out new docks; they're ridiculous.
Oh, I know.
I just bid one out. It was almost 40,000. I'm like, you got to be kidding me for a dock.
Yeah. It's one thing buying on the lake. It's another thing putting all the toys and everything in to support the lake. It's crazy. Yeah, it's just it was built in '89, but it's kind of a fun property that's not like.
Oh, they spent a fortune. This was like you said, Chris. You nailed it. This house, even over in Wayzata, you double the price and they could get it.
Yeah.
With that kind of space, my God.
Yeah, like I said, if you're not driving to work every day, Mound is a great spot.
Oh, I love it. My cousins grew up out there. We used to go over to Mound on the Vikings for Vikings games and hang out in their yard. It was great. Loved it.
Yeah. All right. It's a good one.
Well, we'll take it, I think.
It's only 14,000 square feet. I don't know, maybe a little small.
You'd wear out a vacuum every month. Just trying to keep
I'm interested.
I'm gonna have to go look at that one.
Yeah, I'm interested in this. Look at this. Listed for sale 3.9 in 2015. So it sold 2.8, but then it sold again. Oh no.
No, it sold once in 2017. It might have been way before.
I'm a little snottier than this. I love it, but I'd want to see how steep that lakeshore is going down. Looks like there's a road right next to it with a high bank, the house, and then it goes down to the lake. It might be up there 15 feet, 20 feet.
Could be, yeah. None of those pictures really depicted that.
Yeah, beautiful views, but maybe kind of a treacherous stroll. Who knows? Maybe, Chris, as wealthy as you could be to buy that place, you put in a water slide right from your back door of your place right down to the lake.
Ooh, that's an Andy house for sure.
I'm surprised I'm not a designer. I could come up with some good ideas.
You do design.
We got a segment here, new construction. So Andy, I want you to kind of break down what's going on here, the trends, what they're doing, and this home. It's in Lake Elmo, so on that side of your area, right? Near Champlin?
Yeah.
He's an Elmo boy.
I cover that turf. Let's see the house.
And Andy, add in to what we're gonna see in the parade this fall, if there's good things.
This you might see. This is very that kind of that farmhouse chic, whatever you want to call that kind of look. Nice porch, 4-stall garage, nice tall peaks. You see a lot of that now with the 12-12s and the 10-12 pitch roofs and painted front. It's kind of got the reverse mullet though. It looks like it's James Hardy on the front and then vinyl on the sides, but looks nice. Black cabinets, that's cool too. We do a lot of that. White trim, yep. Simple fireplace.
Are you seeing a lot of flat ceilings now?
Yeah, that we just did one like this. Yeah, not flat as much as we still do a ton of knockdown. Flat, like a lot of times they'll do it like in bathrooms or specialty areas,
That kitchen's interesting. So they used all different colored stains.
Yeah, see, now I used to say it
enamel.
looks like you bought one cabinet on sale at this place, another one at this place, and people are like, I just built one about the same price range in Blaine, and we did the same thing, and it turned out stunning. They did all white uppers, and then they did like that color, like a pickled oak, if you will, on the bottom.
Yep.
And then they painted their island like a blue, and it turned out. I mean, when you're in the house, you're like, oh my gosh, this really works nice.
Yeah, I think too, when you like this picture, when you see that in person, I think it's going to be a lot more subtle than what it looks like on a photo, like that one cabinet that they got from
go back
Menards.
to that. See, we don't do a lot of that on our houses. When we do the 4-season porches or the screen porches like that, they're not doing the pine. They'll do if it's a 2-season, like where it's the 3-season roof and whatever windows. Those are like those vinyl windows though, so it's actually like a very nice like combination 2 to 3 season porch. But it's right off the main level of the house, so it gives that kind of like an up north kind of vibe to it. Where we do a lot of ours with white, or they'll just sheetrock it and do regular trim like it's an extension of the house. And but it's cool. I mean.
Yeah, I think you got to right size those things though too. I think a lot of times people just try to, check the boxes off and, hey, I've got a porch and I got this, and they're not very usable.
Yep.
Well, those bathrooms are clean, aren't they? Sleek.
Yeah. Yes.
Great closets.
Yep.
So
Their own private laundry right off the master. That's nice.
Yeah. Hey, Andy, when you're getting up into that price range, are you seeing people incorporating at least a main floor bedroom, or is it more family 2-story type things?
Depends. A lot of times the lots are not conducive to go wider on the houses, and to get that really nice main floor master, which let's even say it adds 80,000 to the house. Most people that are spending 1.8 or 1.1 million don't care. They'll say, yep, put it on there. We want it. And then you get the basement below it. And sometimes it's like a rambler where it doesn't have the upper level. It just sticks out on the side or something. Almost gives the illusion that the house is a modified 2-story. When the lots are wide enough, we have that as an option. But a lot of times building pads now, the developers, in an effort to keep costs down, don't build really big, wide lots anymore. So a lot of times the building pad for me is 50 feet wide. So I have to be very conscious of how much we're putting in. I mean, a house like that where it's a 4-stall wide garage and then you have the house, you're probably already at 55 to 60 feet wide. And then you add a sport court and that adds another, 10, 20 feet to it. And all of a sudden you add the mat, all of a sudden you have an 85-foot wide house. Well, you need a 100-foot wide lot, and they don't exist in most neighborhoods unless you get on a cul-de-sac. And then, where they're pied out like this, so you can just slide the house back to make it fit. But yeah, no, it's I think most people would prefer to have a main floor master, to be honest with you.
Well, I'll tell you what, then in the resale market, exactly what you're saying is the reason the resale market with a main floor master, it gets you more money because you can't duplicate it. And if you do, you're going to get charged a heck of a lot more for that lot and to create that house as well.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. No, I think it's cool. New construction's fun. Kind of, a lot of white here and there, without it being staged, it'd be a very boring basement. So kudos to the builder for spending the money and the effort on the staging.
How about the bars, Andy?
Yeah, a wet bar like that's probably a $12,000 wet bar.
But
and
is it
when you
more,
add what's that?
The front? I'm just gonna say, don't people mainly go with this more now than at a sit-at bar?
By the time we do a big like extended cabinet from the island or something like that, where it's bar height, you end up adding another $5,000-6,000. You can have a $20,000 bar in your basement And I don't know. It depends on how much entertaining you do. I think this is sufficient for 99% of the people that are out there. Have a little, fridge. I always recommend having a nice little dishwasher down there too. It works great on the other side. And you have the sink, and then you have your upper cabinets. I'd do some fun stuff with some wine bottles or something. But
don't you usually think this turns into like the kids area though? I mean, for the most part, I mean, adults really don't move down to the basement and do their parties.
Not as much.
Yeah, it's usually that main floor is kind of the big thing, and that's why they do those porches, and also maybe not as many walkouts because they want that outside to be able to walk right to it and entertain on that whole main floor.
Agreed. I think that there's no reason to leave the upper level of your house, but like with sport courts, we do a lot of houses with sport courts now with the new construction as well. And that fridge becomes full of the new primes, everybody's chugging their primes or their Gatorades or whatever you want to call them. And, so the fridge becomes a kid's fridge. So be realistic with how it's going to be used in the beginning. Like you may want to just put a full-size refrigerator down there for overflow holiday stuff. And then kids, going into a wine fridge, they're going to leave it open. It doesn't get as cold. It's kind of that, you do want to really think about what you're going to do with that space. A microwave doesn't kill you either, if you have something down there, kind of, like a small kitchenette.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nice looking house.
So what are you doing for the parade, Andy? How many do you guys have?
I think I'm doing 3 on the North Metro. I've got one over in Hugo. I'm going to do one in Centerville and then one in Blaine.
What are your price points?
725, 750, and probably about 700. Everything's in the sevens. Yeah.
That's nice, actually.
Well, the one for 725, it's a new floor plan we have that is has a 4-bedroom up, laundry room up, loft up, and then main floor office. Basement has another bedroom, bathroom, family room, and a big sport court. And that one, it's real cool plan the way it lays out, where the bedrooms actually go over top of the sport court. So we get this massive upstairs, and then the sport court covers all the way to the lower level. And it's kind of interesting because the appraisers don't know what to do with it because there's so much space above the sport court, and they don't want to. They want to consider that sport court to be the basement level, which then they don't want to count the square footage right towards the finishing. So then you're like, well, that's 700, 800 square feet. So you really do want to work with a lender that has appraisers that understand what you're doing, because otherwise your houses will appraise for 60, 70,000 less than what you need. So these sport courts, it cost you, 60, 70 grand, which, by the way, I'll tell you what, you become the kid magnet, for sure. I was kind of on the fence on them before. If I could go back in time, I would rebuild my house. I would have a sport court on that house. And then you're like, but Andy, what would you do now with it? I'd probably be in there playing pickleball with my wife, or I'd be, which gets her excited because I don't like to play, but, or you turn that into something else, another part of your house. I mean, you always want space, and especially 18-foot tall ceilings. You can have a lot going on there. It's kind of cool.
You can have like dead animals hanging from the ceiling.
I will have pictures of one shortly that they did that.
Really? Oh.
Now, they're not dead. They're fakes, but they're the duplicates or whatever, I believe.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been talking about this for a while. It's been a hot topic nationwide, but the stats are in for commercial real estate in Minnesota significantly dropped the first half of 2023. Your thoughts?
Not surprising.
Well, then nobody wants to finance them. So if they have to be financed, and then financing's so expensive right now, and there's, you know what I mean? It's like interest rates for some of these lenders are 9 to 11% for a commercial loan. So it gets expensive.
I'm stunned at a lot of the building that's happening. There's a lot of things being built, and I don't know. I mean, like outside Burnsville Center, which is kind of a whatever happened to that place, but my gosh, they're filling that whole thing up around it, but nobody's going inside the building. So
it's an epicenter, right? They all want to have that redevelopment, the vibe of community restaurants and clothes and whatever, but then everybody sits in their apartment and gets Amazon delivered. So,
True. But I'll tell you what, have you ever done that DoorDash thing?
I don't. I really don't.
You would go crazy. how much it costs. It's unbelievable. These people do DoorDash all the time. I'm like, how the heck do you spend that kind of money doing that? I mean, it's literally like if you want a Chipotle, it's $20
Oh yeah.
to get it to
Yeah,
you.
I've seen kids do it with their Taco Bell. And
Yeah.
our neighbor, we were sitting there, who's also my brother. We were sitting there one night and the doorbell rang and we're like, what is this? And all of a sudden there's this huge bag of Taco Bell on our front step. And he looks back at his camera and goes, okay, that was like DoorDash or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it sat there and we're like waiting for him to come back because we didn't order anything. And all of a sudden we're like, well, we shouldn't let it go to waste. It was like a gift from God. We're out there just eating chili. We're like opening it up. What is this?
So they just delivered to the wrong place.
They did, yeah.
Wow.
They never even came back looking for it.
Yeah. Well.
Thank you, DoorDash. You're on mute.
We can't lip read.
I said, hi, boys. We went through our outline. Anything exciting coming up for you or something you want to talk about?
I want to know if you're learning Portuguese.
I got a lot of
Ogiai, Safado, Lindo, Tudo bom, a little.
How do you say bikini?
Bikini. Yeah. You know, in Brazil, they had the Brazilian bikini, right? Which is basically a thong and
not
nice.
Much more.
Yeah.
You'll see. Hey, we'll do a show. We're going to do a show in Brazil.
Yeah. Do you know I'm going there, Andy?
Yeah. You're not good at telling me stuff. No.
Yep. I did it, but I don't have to take a COVID test. So that was key for me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, hey, I do have three off-market lakeshore listings coming up.
Nice.
Good, exciting little things, anywhere from 875 to 2.2 million. So if anyone's looking on the lake, let me know. Yeah, all in Prior. Yep.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So people finally deciding to start moving, but it's really a hangover from COVID, where they weren't going to do it. One of them was from 3 years ago that I first talked to them. So now they're ready to go.
Well, I was
Another one was probably 4 years. What's that?
I think you and I both do a ton of that where we consult with people ahead of time. Like now, I might meet with somebody now that's not going to be ready to sell for a year and a half. We talk about what they should do, how to improve the property, what things you can get ready that makes more sense. What are people looking for in today's market for colors? Just so they can so that they're engaging with the marketplace. And, with that, then we do better photos, we do better marketing, we have more exposure, you get more views, more showings, more offers. And it's just a math equation. So it is very smart to invest now for, even if you're going to sell next summer, to call ahead of time, because I love doing it. And then it gives me like you just said, coming soon or whatever, so I got the same thing. I got a couple of them in the works that I can't really mention yet.
Yeah, it is tricky because you got to have them under contract. So
yeah,
we got to do it right, Andy. You're doing it right. Good job.
What is it? Loose lips, sink ships, Andy. Be careful.
Yeah, and you don't want to do illegal marketing, but
we're just talking to our friends. So I'm just talking to Andy about.
I'm not marketing anything.
These listings, right? Exactly.
Yeah. I used to get agents that were so mad at me when we were allowed to do pre-marketing before the MLS. Yeah. Why are you cutting us out of the equation? And I'm like, the reason why I do it is because it exposes us on 13 different websites as coming soon versus, listed. And I said, I get more attraction with the coming soon than I do with listed. It's like people that, it's coming, it's exclusive. It's like the movie premiere, right? Versus the movie just coming out and being open. Well, we'll go to that whenever we want. There's no urgency versus it's an exclusive premiere.
Marketing consistently changes. The rules change. And so we have to be adapting all the time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's for sure.
All right, guys, click that link down there. It's our websites. Everywhere we post content. Give us a review on iTunes, Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube. Likes on Facebook. And, of course, send in any questions you have that we can answer. All right, boys. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks, all.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Real Estate Radio Hour. Don't forget to visit our website, realestateradiohour.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or your preferred podcast listening app. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or sharing us with a friend. Until next time, stay awesome, Twin Cities.